Am I the for distancing myself from my friend because he's a furry? Immediately, I'm thinking, not the furries are weird as but I'm also thinking, like, is it just because he's a furry and not because whatever else? At the moment, I'm thinking, not the asshole, but I want to see what it is. I have nothing against furries, but I think he may have taken it a little too far. He wants me to roleplay with him all the time. Crazy. Insane. My friend has a furry body pillow, a foxtail he wears, and puts furries as his profile picture. For sake, he even has to clarify he's a furry in his account bios. He wasn't always like this. Mr. Oldham, I haven't talked to him in nearly 10 months now. Not so. That friend is giving red flags because of the roleplay part. The roleplay part is the only bit which is making me feel that red flag. The furry body pillow, foxtail, and putting furries as his profile picture, that's his own business. If he's making being a furry like ingrained with his personality, I'm fine with you distancing yourself. So in comments here, not I assume this makes you uncomfortable and your friend was insisting on you performing acts that made you uncomfortable. That's the top comment. Totally agree. Am I the asshole to be mad at my friend for creating a Fursona out of my cat? Automatically, I'm thinking like, you don't really need to be mad. My best friend, 24 male, is a furry, pretty well known in the local furry community, and his Fursona has 5,000 followers online. Furries are like, if they don't make being a furry their entire personality, who they are as a person could either be really crap or just really amazing. I live alone except for my cat, and I've been working from home since March 2020. So I tend to take a lot of photos and send them to my friends. This particular friend, the furry, loves my cat and often bemoans, interesting word choice, that he can't have a cat himself due to his dad's allergies. Well, for the past few months, he's been working on a big secret project. He's been building it up on his Twitter too, saying that a surprise is coming for his audience. Then, last week, he sent a picture of his project. He has commissioned an overseas fursuit artist to create a brand new fursuit for him. And the fursuit character is my cat. Okay, look, I thought it was just gonna be like, hey, this is some art that I've made of your cat. I didn't think it was gonna be your friend commissioning a fursuit artist to make a fursuit. That is insane. I would love to see what the fursuit looks like, obviously, but that is insane. At first, I thought he was joking, but when he started excitedly gushing about it, I realized that it's real, and he's actually paid someone over $6,000. I got mad at him after that. Then he got mad at me because he sees it as such a huge compliment and he spent a lot of money on it. But I just wish he had consulted me first. But am I the asshole here? If it's over $6,000, I'm assuming it's a full suit. Because I can understand from his perspective, like if he was thinking about this and he didn't have any other external opinions on this, I could see why he thought of it as a huge compliment. But at the same time, to create a fursuit of someone else's cat is insane. If he was a fursuit artist, right, and he was making this suit, that would be a much bigger compliment than commissioning an artist for this suit. He should have consulted OP first. OP is not the asshole. I wouldn't say your friend's an asshole per se, but I would say he's weird, not the asshole. It's just really presumptuous. He's taken something personal to you and turned it into something to monetize. Feels like a total lack of consideration for your feelings on it. It's really bad on the friend's part that he didn't communicate that this was happening at all. Water break. Oh, that's not water. Oh, okay. Let's do a couple more of these. I, 41 male, and my husband, 40 male, have always taught our children that showing their personality upfront is the best policy. We grew up having our real selves suppressed by our parents, and that severely stifled our relationship at the beginning because we put on facades and made sure our kids grew up with a better mentality. My son, 17M, I'll call Jeremy, is very into cosplay, which me and my husband have always been supportive by taking him to cons and stuff like that. Recently, we discovered that Jeremy stole my husband's credit card, to purchase a $4,000 suit. We were initially very angry with him, but he agreed to get a job to pay us back the money. He's scheduled to have an interview at Kohl's in 3 days, and my husband went to his room to teach him how to tie a tie so that he could look professional. My husband returned a few minutes later looking distraught, and he told me that Jeremy thanked him for his offer, but that he would be wearing his fursuit to the interview. My husband tried to explain to him that this was not appropriate, but Jeremy explained that he was taking our advice to heart and decided that if the interviewer didn't like him for who he is, he doesn't want to work there. Oh my God. I told him that he has to understand that there are rules in society. He then yelled at me. 15 years ago, you and dad getting married was against the rules of society. I told him that that was not the same and it was disrespectful to say that. He flipped me off and I grounded him. He has stated that me not respecting his persona, I'm guessing Fursona, is the same as homophobia and will not be treated this way. Am I wrong? Do I just not get it? There is a lot to unpack here. I'm saying not the asshole because at the end of the day, there's a time and a place for being a furry, and going to a job interview to pay off the debt that you owe is insane. There's no computational prowess in Jeremy right now. You're the asshole. Not because you won't let him wear the costume, but because you're not preparing this person to be a functioning adult. Rips off $4,000 and the only corrective action is to let him keep the thing and to just pay us back. I think in that sense, yeah, I do agree that there probably should have been more punishment. My verdict is they're not the asshole because there's a time and place for being a furry. But yeah, you're definitely the asshole just letting your son brush past this with no consequences. Especially if Jeremy is 17. At 17, you should have some cognizance of money. Am I the asshole for exposing my ex-boyfriend as a furry? Immediately, asshole. Because even though it is a hobby, a lot of people still have this perception of the community that it's entirely sexual. And that's gonna look bad upon him. My ex-boyfriend and I broke up over his strange obsession with furry stuff. The fact that he was a furry came to me as a total shock after a long, almost entirely positive relationship that I exited feeling somewhat disgusted with myself for possibly, likely, being shallow. Truthfully, it was sort of a bait and switch since he never mentioned his furry obsession at all until like 8 months into the relationship. I would have never considered pursuing a serious relationship with him had I known the extent of how creepy it would be to me. I did, in earnest, try to reconcile, but in the process, the relationship fell apart. The 8 months bit is a red flag. Keeping it hidden for 8 months is really, how do I put this, manipulative, because you don't know what else he's keeping a secret of. But at the same time, like, you're leaving him because he's a furry. He could literally just be like, oh, I like Zootopia, and that's the extent of him being a furry. Over the course of explaining why we broke up dozens of times to different people, it slipped out to maybe 1 or 2 gossips by accident that the particular reason why we broke up was this strange fetish / hobby. Most likely due to the breakup more than the concurring incident of exposing him as a furry. He gained substantial weight and has shown some signs of depression. I honestly tried to maintain the friendship, but it kept getting weirder and weirder. There's a mix of sad and angry between both of us, but something that comes up way more often than it should was that I was responsible for outing him as a furry. I apologize for everything and anything, and he refuses to accept any attempt at reconciliation. I never went out of my way to frame him as a weirdo, and he never once asked me to keep a secret despite hiding it from me for so long. Am I the asshole? Why are you still in contact with him? For me, I have this ideology that if you love someone and you break up with them and you still remain friends with them, you're either still in love or you were never in love at all. You kept it a secret for so long. That's the part you should break up with. Okay, comments. You're the asshole. I don't see how you let it accidentally slip. That's a very niche fetish that he was obviously keeping secret. Hell, he kept it from you until he was comfortable talking about it 8 months into a committed relationship. The amount of times people have construed that being a furry is immediately sexual. It honestly isn't. I think you're the asshole for just going around telling people that he's a furry and also just breaking up with him for being a furry. Alright. If you like this, let me know. I might still do more. I don't care. Honestly don't care. Alright.